Hey there, guys and gals, all you hip cats, cool kittens, you diesel-powered disciples of cool. It is that time once again for Comixstravaganza Live. And I am your host, the king of swing, the tower of power, the time-traveling diesel punk prophet of pop culture, Big Daddy Cool, Johnny Della Rocca, along with Darth Lee, Leanna Blair, Nancy Arch of Cosplay Collective, the pretty boy, Daniel Shoemake, and Dee Volpe of Cosplay Collective. We are brought to you live every Wednesday night by GraphicPolicy.com, produced by John Pyka Productions and BDC Entertainment in cooperation with Comic City Conventions, Cosplay Collective, and the Unlockable characters.
Woohoo!
Yes,
Woohoo!
yes. And tonight is going to be a different show. You see the entire group is gathered here. We've got a seat warmed up and waiting for Amy. She's caught in traffic. So hopefully she'll be able to join us. But tonight is our live Avengers Age of Ultron Roundtable. Now we've been pimping this for a week, and hopefully you guys watching are going to join us live via Twitter. As a matter of fact, we've got one question right here, so we're going to be addressing that real soon. We're going to talk exclusively about Age of Ultron, but before we do that, I do have to share one new release this week because this is Marvel's biggest release of the year, Secret Wars #1. It's already sold out at the distributor level, which means that all of the copies they printed are in stores, and this will sell out. This is Marvel's biggest event, not just this year, but maybe in the last 10 years. We are going to see basically a reboot of the Marvel Universe in kind of a Crisis on Infinite Earths style event. And that's what's going on here. Playing off the previous titles that have been, Marvel Superhero Secret Wars 2, and Nick Fury's The Secret War. And now we've got this series, and the Beyonder is back, Battle World is back, but now it's not just people from Earth fighting against each other. It's people from other Earths, other planets, other dimensions, other timelines, all battling it out. And at the end, we'll have one unified universe. So pick up Secret Wars #1 this week before it sells out. So, all right, guys, gals, we are here for one purpose and one purpose only. And that is to talk about the movie that we've all seen. I think we all saw it opening day last Friday.
Yep.
Avengers Age of Ultron.
Oh.
You...
Twice? God, I would love to go see it again.
Yeah.
I will go see it again.
Yeah, and, Daniel and I went together with my son, the Beast, and we had a great time. And Daniel, I leaned over to you right after it was done, and I said, I really want to see this again right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I could have sat through another showing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning when it ended.
Yeah,
I would have definitely sat through it again.
It was. We got home at 1:30 in the morning. It was fantastic. Well, so a lot of different things have been going on the internet since it came out. A lot of nerd rage at Joss Whedon from fanboys who are upset that the film didn't stick true to comic book canon. There's a group of feminists that are upset over the Black Widow controversy, and there are these naysayers out there who are calling the movie a failure.
What?
Because, get this. All right, so Age of Ultron had the second highest grossing opening in movie history. Second highest ever. Behind Avengers 1.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it fell short of the 200 million mark, which is what they were hoping it would do. It did, what, 197 million?
What's 3 million between friends?
Yeah.
Really?
But
really?
It didn't quite meet their hope, and so now certain people are saying it's a failure because it didn't do 200 million in its first weekend. And there are a lot of reasons maybe it didn't, because the Kentucky Derby was that weekend. The Manny
Pacquiao, Mayweather fight. Yeah.
Which Did you see people are suing Pacquiao over this fight?
Useless fight.
And that might be legitimate, but some other people are saying, is this the start of superhero movie fatigue? It made me think about this today, and I don't think it's fatigue. I think the novelty has worn off. People weren't rushing to see this movie in my circle the way they were the first movie.
Yeah.
You know, we had the first one, and in the last 12 months we had Winter Soldier, we had X-Men Days of Future Past, we had Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't think we're getting fatigued. I think some of the novelty has worn off.
It might be a light oversaturation because there is so much out there in the universe, and whether it's Marvel or DC or whoever you want to see, there's so much that we all want to see that we're telling, hey, we want to see a movie about this, we want to see a movie about that. They're giving us what they interpret, what we think, what they want us to see. It's just there's so much, and they're getting it done within 4 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff. So it might be fatigue on the fact of like your armchair fan, but us, the people who breathe, kind of half breathe this stuff, I'm not getting fatigued at all.
No, neither am I. And I'll just kind of start with my comments, since I am the long-term Avengers fan on this show. If you guys have been watching this or Tales from the Geek, you guys know that I tell people that Star Wars movies and Avengers comics made me who I am today. Avengers 222, when I was a kid, was the first comic book I bought with my own money, and I got addicted from that moment on. And I went back and I bought every issue from issue 56 to the present, every series, every issue. And I am an Avengers freakasaurus. I love the Avengers. It's my favorite team. It's my favorite concept of all time. So one of the big complaints about this movie from fanboys, and I'm talking about hardcore old-time comic book fans, is that it took such dramatic liberties with the canon or the source material. And we talked about this last week when we were talking about the Joker. You guys remember? Yeah. I was upset because the Joker had gone too far away. And you'll remember I said, it's not so much sticking, 100% accurate to the source material. It's staying true to the spirit of the source material. And this movie accomplished that. Look, guys, if you're looking for the Marvel movies to stick to comic book canon, I'm sorry, that ship has sailed a long time ago. They are creating their own continuity, their own universe in the movies. That's why we call it the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's not the Marvel Comic Universe. And Disney and Marvel are actually starting to sync the two up, and you might see the comic universe looking more like the cinematic universe before long. And so I thought, though, it was true to the spirit of the source material, and there were a lot of things I really, really liked. And to be honest, I like this better than the first Avengers.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And there were a lot of reasons. There were a lot of reasons why, but one of the reasons was that Captain America, Chris Evans, has evolved that character so much. He was so bad to the bone in this movie. For me, he was one of the standout stars of this film. The whole dynamic of the team, it became obvious in the opening scenes that they had been working together. They had been training together, which to me was just a cool thing, especially when you saw the way that Captain America and Thor worked together. Yeah. They had been practicing together. They had been working out. And that was just awesome. The spirit of the character of Ultron was really good. And what really made it frustrating for me is that in the comic books, and this is what bothered a lot of fans, in the comic books, Ultron is just pure evil. But in this movie, he was a little bit likable. You could relate to him a little bit.
He was my favorite character out of the whole movie.
Was he?
Yeah. I mean, you have that whole thing where, okay, he's created on accident.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on. None of the group knows what's going on. So he gets loose and he sees all this and he has his own interpretation of it. So I can't fault him for seeing the negatives in the way that he did in the whole human civilization. I can't fault him for that.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we're like it, everything else, but we also, we have both sides, blah, blah, blah. That's a whole other
Well, in the comics, that's the way his programming evolves. He determines that the only way to protect the Earth is to eliminate humanity.
Yeah.
And it was, again, true to the spirit of the movie. A lot of fans are upset that Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch were not the characters that they are in the comics. Now, look, guys, come on. If that was a surprise to anyone who is a fan of the Avengers, I don't know where you've been the last 2 years. We have known, one, that Marvel could not use the word mutants forever, and we knew that they were setting up the Inhumans to be the new mutant population in the cinematic universe. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., last week's episode, went right into Avengers Age of Ultron. It was perfect. I guess we should say spoiler alert on this whole episode tonight.
That's the name of the episode, spoiler alert.
Yeah. But more than that, in the comics, in Axis, number 7, I think it was, we discovered that they are not the son and daughter of Magneto, that was all a lie, and that they probably are not mutants. And if that's true, that makes Charles Xavier the dumbest person on the planet. Because he created Cerebro to detect mutants, and he said they were mutants all along, and now either his machine is faulty or he's just a moron.
Or he's got an ulterior motive for saying they're not.
Yes. We don't know. So, but and one of the big complaints was that Scarlet Witch was so depowered and that her powers were changed. You know, in the comics, she's got these reality-bending powers, and they made her, telepath and telekinetic. But I don't think they really depowered her. I think
haven't showed it yet.
That's right, because at the end of the movie, this is the spoiler alert, when they're reforming the new team, and this was my favorite scene of the whole movie, by the way, the formation of the new team.
Oh, I got chills.
And you see Scarlet Witch floating in, flying in.
Yeah. And I love the outfit, by the way. I was really worried what they were going to do with that, because I know the look that she has in the comics, and I was just,
A lot of people upset with the gothification of the Scarlet Witch. I thought
you got to bring it into...
These are the same people that got mad that Wolverine wasn't in yellow and blue.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah. I mean, you got to make it work for the tone of the movie. They're trying to make it realistic. Even Captain America and Thor are a little bit
we got to see
over the top.
In another outfit, a normal outfit.
So I don't think they depowered Scarlet Witch. I just don't think we've seen the full range of her powers yet, because
you may not know them either.
Well, throughout the movie, they developed and grew stronger.
Oh, yeah.
And by that final scene when you-know-who meets his final fate, she unleashes her powers and takes out the rest of the Ultron army by herself. Boom!
Yeah.
I loved her character. After Captain America, she was my favorite. And I really, really love that. And of course, the one thing that everyone does love and is almost unanimous about them getting right is the Vision.
Oh, yeah.
I really like that.
Oh, such a good interpretation. That was
This
so
is my introduction to the Vision. Like, I had no clue who he was when I went and sat and watched the movie. But I love the way that he evolved, and that he is basically an Infinity Stone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he holds the Mind Gem.
The Mind Gem.
Yeah. So I really, really like that, and I love that he was able to pick up Thor's hammer.
Oh, that was
and hand it to him. I mean, everybody gasped when that
Yes.
We all had the same thing.
Like, even my son, he's 10 years old, and he was like, Mom,
Yeah.
did you see that?
Well, and we were
So
talking
that's how you know he's good.
Yeah.
That's how you know
that
I
he
loved
can be
him
trusted.
right then.
Yeah. So, and this is what I'm talking about, the spirit of the source material. In the original source material, the Vision is created by Ultron to attack the Avengers. It wasn't created to be a new body for Ultron. It was created to be a weapon for Ultron. But You know, in the story, they fight the Vision, and after 3 issues, eventually he comes around to help them and to then join them. They had to condense all of that story into really 3 minutes.
So I gotta ask this: like in the comic books, did he come from Jarvis?
No.
Was Jarvis a part of that?
Jarvis,
That's one of the biggest things that I really, really liked about the Vision is because
you can see the continuation of it.
Yeah, of Jarvis, and I love it because Jarvis is one of my favorite characters. I don't care. He's a machine, but he cracks me up, and I love him, and I want a Jarvis.
Yeah, in the comics, Jarvis is a real person. He's the butler for the Avengers, and in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they've made him the assistant for Peggy Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah, Butler and
Butler.
or Howard's Butler.
Howard.
Yeah.
Howard's not Tony.
So the biggest thing.
Technically, you're right,
The
but
the biggest thing that fanboys are raging against, and it's the same thing that I complained about up until now, and I'm still, look, I still wish it had been done differently, but I understand why they did this, but fanboys are losing their minds. Like, this was a surprise that Tony and Bruce Banner create Ultron instead of Hank Pym, who in the comics is the creator of Ultron. And Hank Pym, of course, is Ant-Man, and we're going to learn more about him in the Ant-Man movie later this summer. But a lot of fans just really had anger issues over Joss Whedon doing that, and I was one of them at first, and I still wish it had been Hank Pym that created him. And I think they left the door open for the Ant-Man movie to retcon that a little bit, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I'm like, really, guys? This was a surprise to you? We've been talking about that aspect of the origin for 2 years.
how many new characters can you introduce in a movie? Because you had 2 major new characters in Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
Yep.
And then you had, again, spoiler alert, you had Ultron. And then you have the whole backstory of the Avengers thing.
Yeah.
Like, how many more people can
Daddy
you...
and Daddy.
Yeah. How many more people can you introduce and not confuse the daylights out of your audience?
Right.
So...
I thought he did a great job balancing it.
Absolutely.
The only thing that I was really disappointed in, and it was an editing choice that probably had to be made, is that the Falcon was not part of the team during the final battle. Now they shot scenes with him in the final battle, but at the end they had to put him on the cutting room floor, and I think we'll see it in the director's cut when it comes out on Blu-ray in the year. But I think for time's sake, you know, he became a redundant character at that point because you had War Machine coming into the fight, you had the Vision flying around, and so if you had to cut one character, that's the one to do. But there's been a lot of controversy this week about the role that Black Widow plays, and including her origin, which, by the way, if you guys didn't watch Agent Carter, you missed them telling the Black Widow's origin. And that we saw that flashback in this movie. She's in the Red Room where they train those girls, and you know that all tied into that all tied into what we saw in Agent Carter. But then people are feminists, quote unquote, are all upset that they chose to use her as the damsel in distress, the character that needed to be rescued. And they're upset that it was a woman who needed to be rescued by a man in the Hulk. And, you know, we talked about this before the show went live. Who else could it have been? There are only 2 characters that don't have superpowers that, you know, could have been that character foil. Her or Hawkeye. And Hawkeye was tied up with other stuff, with the twins and all of that stuff. So Black Widow was the only logical choice to, you know, fulfill that role.
And it's kind of like they're ignoring everything else she did.
Yeah, like up until that, she was on a train, and not train, the semi truck, the Ultron, the
Yeah.
machine out of the thing. She's the one who basically did that.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
And
I mean, she's
I know
not
a lot
really. I mean, she sacrificed herself, I think, and that's, how is that a damsel in distress?
I'm sorry.
When she was the one who kicked ass.
Yeah,
and
it
got
could
shit
have been
done.
any one of those
Yeah.
characters that got carried off by him, but she made the
she
most
was
sense.
She
She was the one in the
doing
spot.
battle.
Yeah.
She got her doing. It wasn't like she was just standing there and he came and took her.
Right.
She was knocked
She
out.
pretty much, like she
Yeah.
said, she was
Carried
picking
her
up
out.
after the boys,
yeah.
and she got stuff done.
And
So-
then the basement dwelling nerd boys
Oh, Lord.
were all upset that there was so much romance in the movie, and there was too many slow moments and down
Guys,
moments.
this is the only way you're going to get your girlfriend or whoever woman you've got around to go see a comic book movie if she's not into it. That's the only way it's going to happen.
I kind of see
Alright.
that just a little. I like the idea of Hulk and Black Widow, like at the beginning
No,
of
you're
the
absolutely
movie.
right.
But to
I
me,
actually
it seemed
do.
like she was chasing them,
Yeah.
Well,
and
she
I don't see
was.
her doing that. Like all of a sudden she's lovey-dovey and she's very flirtatious. Yeah, and I love that. But like when she was being serious, like she had real feelings, and I think they did that a little bit too much.
Really?
I think they
It's-
should have made her a little bit harder when it came. She was, I
In-
don't see it.
But in real life, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for this one. I just
Pretty
stepped in
boy
a hole.
speaks.
I just stepped in a hole, and I probably have to swim my way out of
Send
this one.
email complaints
Yeah, I'm going to get in
to
trouble for this one.
Daniel
No,
Shoemaker
I
at
don't do that.
Comixstravaganza.com.
But if anyone is interested in anyone else, the easiest way to get them to talk to you is either ignore them or insult them.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I would walk into parties in college and go, "Hey, ugly, she's chasing me all night."
Yeah, that's
What does
right
this have
out.
to do with the movie?
That's right out of Mystery's playbook, by the way.
It is actually.
Yeah.
You want? He is pushing away from her, pushing away on her.
Right.
And she keeps coming after him.
Yeah, but it seems like, she's one of those clingy girls. She seemed clingy to me.
Well, think about
To
this
an
for a minute,
extent.
Leanna.
She seemed clingy.
Well, think about this for a minute.
But I like
She-
the idea. I just want it to go at a slower pace where she doesn't look so
I do like
desperate, She kind of looked, oh, love me.
Well,
see,
think
we're
about this
both
for a minute.
monsters.
She's raised in isolation in Russia, trained to be an assassin. She only interacts with other girls. She's been sterilized so that she can't have children because children only interfere with the mission. And
A bad thought in my head.
But that's not how she's been since she left,
Well-
because she was trained not to be
No.
that way.
well, yes, she's been trained not to have feelings, not to have emotions,
I know where you're
not to
going.
have attachments, and now she's found herself in a new role. She's been given a second chance by Nick Fury. Now she has relationships and interactions that she never had before. And I think we're just seeing a new layer and a new opportunity for the character to live more like a normal person. And I think that was a huge growth point.
I think what caused her to probably get a little more mushy or
Yeah.
whatever is the fact that she could calm the Hulk down.
Yeah.
She had some
And
power.
so she saw the softer side of herself
Yeah,
just at a higher level than
Oh, that's
anybody
good.
would.
that's a
I
good
mean,
point.
I do. I get it. And
So-
I love that part between her and Hulk where she can calm down. Like, I love that. But, like I said, it just seemed like, I don't know. She
And
was
that's
being
another
pushy.
point
I
that-
think she was being pushy and kind of pushed it, and that's why he ran off.
Well, and then she, never thought she could have a relationship, and here something is happening between them.
Right.
And so she's thinking of giving everything up and just.
This could be
go with
quite
it.
That's
possibly.
I think that's what upsets
But that's
me,
what
that
she's wanted
like,
to do all along. Even in the first movie, she wanted to erase the red from her ledger. That's all she's ever wanted, is to get away from her past, escape her past, and have a normal life.
She's
This
not
could
gonna
be
have a normal life.
This
with
could be the
Hulk.
first connection, quote unquote, that she's ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she doesn't know how to really react. Oh, again, she's been
Well,
trained.
no, I think she has connections because with the family with Hawkeye,
Well,
I think.
That's a connection on a different level
Yeah,
than
that's
they
a different
have.
level.
You know what I mean? Because you can have that
That's not a
family
romantic
connection with somebody, but on a romantic level, that's a completely side ball of wax, completely different barrel of monkeys over there.
Yeah.
So this could be the first time she's ever actually let herself feel that. And then now she's like, I don't know what to do. I'm just kind of like, I'm going to run with it.
Yeah.
We're running with it. How many times have any of us said, I'm just going to run with it, and it works out?
She might like the challenge.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Now, I will say this was another big bone of contention with fanboys, with longtime comic book fans, because never once in the comic books did Natasha and Bruce Banner have any type of relationship other than being on the same team together. Bruce always had Betty Ross, and we saw her in the Hulk movie, in the Incredible Hulk movie, but he's been away from her. He left her, and now the only female relationship he has had since that first movie that we're aware of is with Natasha. Personally, I liked it. I thought it was out of the departures from source material, from canon, this one I really liked. I thought it worked really well.
If she was going to have a relationship with any of the Avengers, the only one I see would be Bruce Banner.
Well, you know, in the comic book, she's had relationships with Tony Stark.
She likes it rough.
So this comes back to the joke about
Bruce
her.
Banner's the opposite.
Yeah.
I think she actually fell for Bruce, not the Hulk.
Yeah. Well, and you know, the joke in the interview with Chris Evans and Renner was that Mark Renner, is it Mark Renner? Jeremy Renner, about her promiscuity. Promiscuity. First day with my new title.
She was trained to be that way.
She was trained to be that way, and in the comic books, she is like that. She's hooked up with Matt Murdock, Daredevil, with Captain America, with Tony Stark, probably with Thor. I'm pretty sure Hercules, Nick Fury. I mean, she's hopped around a little bit. That's just been that character. Now we don't see that element of her that much.
With
Hawkeye,
Hawkeye,
she did, and Hawkeye in the comics, he is her counterpart because he's hooked up with She-Hulk and the Wasp and Bobby Morse, and he's a man W. You know what I'm saying? But they don't portray him that way. That was another big issue with the source material, is that in the comics, Hawkeye doesn't have a wife and kids, and the fact that they introduced that element of his life, almost everyone, if they didn't read the spoilers, thought that instantly targeted him for death by Whedon, and that's not what happened. Spoiler alert. We meet Quicksilver in this movie, and we say goodbye to Quicksilver in this movie.
I'll say this, I had my money on Hawkeye dying.
Wait.
I had my money on Hawkeye.
We don't know that he's dead.
We don't know for sure he's dead.
You're right.
He just got shot a couple times. His metabolism's probably really high.
We do not know that he is dead.
And I really don't think he is.
Did you guys read that they did film an alternate ending?
I did read
with
that.
him, with him showing up with the new team, going, what, do you think 40 bullets would take me out? You know?
Well, it could be that.
Well,
and then how long is that guy's contract, too?
I don't know.
He's the same guy that plays Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
I didn't
and
know
was
that
in Godzilla.
Even watching the movie, I didn't realize that until I read it online. I was like, oh. Yeah.
So, the first question we have from our Twitter viewers is, do you think Quicksilver is really dead, or will he be resurrected in time for Infinity War? And this comes from Secret Base. And here's the thing. We've got Infinity War coming up after Civil War. And one of the things, Leanna, that the Infinity Gems, when they're part of that gauntlet you saw in the mid-credit scene with Thanos putting on the glove and saying, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
That gauntlet is designed to hold all 5 of the Infinity Gems and gives the wearer omnipotent, godlike power over all reality. And he can resurrect the dead, he can change time, he can alter reality at his will. So we've got that element going on. The Scarlet Witch's powers have not been fully developed yet, and in the comic books, she has the ability to shape reality. That's her powers. It's reality-based powers. She can change reality, change everything around her. So she could potentially resurrect Quicksilver. But then there's another Avengers villain who hasn't even been touched on, who is a major part of comic book canon, and could be the only hope for the Avengers to win against Thanos, and that's Kang the Conqueror. And he's time traveler, and when you got time travel involved, anything can happen. So, will we see Quicksilver again?
I think so.
Probably.
I think so.
More than
Well, they
likely.
also made
they
the
would-
point to talk about how his metabolism is faster and all that.
Yeah.
And I think they said that on purpose because that can be used also.
He might be in stasis.
Yes.
Right.
Healing.
I mean, they put him on the boat. They left all the other dead bodies.
But they
Yeah.
brought him.
Yeah, they brought him back.
It's a good point.
And then
Well, that doctor lady, the step. Well, I know
Right.
she's
And
Yeah,
dead. but-
Joe. No,
No,
she's
Joe's
not.
Joe's
She
fine.
did not.
No,
She's fine.
Okay, well, I mean, maybe
She's
she
got that-
could bring him back.
yeah, she's got the
The little machine.
the tube.
She has the
Yeah.
technology.
She does. So I think
Yeah.
that
She
might.
has-
synthetic skin, and
Yeah.
that's a good point. Now, she was a little Easter egg too. Helen Cho, her son is a character named Amadeus. And Amadeus Cho is the 7th smartest person on the planet, and eventually he becomes a member of the Avengers in modern times as a child. And he can see patterns, numbers, and interpret languages, and he's just super smart, and he can harness energy through his mind to give him strength like Hercules, and he's a pretty cool character, and so we might see him with the Easter egg planted by Dr. Helen Cho.
You know what? One part of the movie where when they did make the Vision and like while that was happening, like everything that was breaking out with all of them arguing and him finally coming alive and swooping in and standing at the window. Like at that point, I didn't know what was going to happen, like at all. And like I hope he's a good guy, but then it scared me that he might not be.
Yeah.
And then like, didn't Thor? Wasn't he like no, just leave him alone or something?
Yeah, because Thor had seen the Vision. He knew to how to bring him to life.
He'd come back from the water thing.
Well, it was crazy how there's like just two big separate sides of it, you
and
know?
the Thor movie,
Even
is
after-
that next? The new Thor movie, is that?
Yeah, the Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the next one, but it's in line.
Because that was set up when he went into that
That's
to
right.
get the Vision, because they said
Yeah.
things are never the same afterwards. So
Yeah. Hey, Joe Tonello says, hey guys.
What's
hey
up,
Joe,
Joe?
thanks for tuning in. If you guys are watching live, you can interact with us on Twitter at Live Comics with an X. Send us a tweet, ask us questions about what we thought about Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, Nancy, you've been very quiet. you uncharacteristically, you've been kind of listening to us talk, and you've given me some odd looks. So
He should be used to that by now.
so what are your impressions?
Well,
What did you come away with?
here we go.
here we go. No, I enjoyed the movie. Did I love the movie? Was it like the end all be all for me? No. Guardians was, to me, better than this movie.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just had a good time.
Oh, they're kind of neck and neck for me.
I think
What
I
I
know
what I didn't like about this movie is I thought it was choppy. I couldn't follow it very well.
That was because there were so many people fighting.
And that could be. I thought the some of the fighting scenes were too CGI, too fast,
I thought that at the beginning.
and I was like, "You guys are you're killing me. Just slow down for a second.
I didn't
do
like
it
the opening
real time.
credits.
Do it whatever." I didn't either. I didn't like
Yeah.
that either. And I know I'm probably gonna get slammed about this, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I can. It's my prerogative. I hated Ultron.
Really?
Yeah.
Hated.
It was the Vision of Ultron she hated.
I didn't
She
like.
didn't like that he was so
He
human
wasn't
moving.
scary at all. I hated that he had teeth. What the heck?
Well, yeah, his lips moved.
I
Yeah.
didn't like that at all. I didn't like his sense of humor. I didn't like
I liked his
any.
humor.
The sense of
thing.
humor
I
was
loved
like
his sense of
I
humor.
didn't like anything about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so
I kind of feel you on that.
I didn't like him.
I
wanted him to be scary.
yeah, and they didn't really make him.
It's not scary.
Well, he was scary from the point that, I mean, he had power. He had the ability to take out the Avengers.
Right.
He had the ability to make good his plan.
Right.
And all along, I was breathing heavy. Like, are they actually going to pull this out? You know, and at the end of the day, they didn't save the city.
Right.
They saved the people, but not the city.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know, I struggled with Ultron in that, like I said at the beginning, I wanted him to be pure, scary evil, like he is depicted in the comics. And here he had a little bit of Tony's snarky
He did. That's what I thought.
sarcasm.
That's
And
what I
No,
thought.
that's because he developed Ultron.
Yeah.
In
And I
this form, so-
understand that. That part I get, and I know why.
But I found him likable.
I just didn't.
I thought he was kind of a likable character. I related to his progression and his character arc, and I had a hard time arguing with his logic.
You know what I did like? I know this is awesome or weird, but his first incarnation where he came and it's the oil dripping and
Yeah.
it looked like blood.
Yeah,
That part was
That's-
super cool.
That was awesome.
the old armor.
And
Yeah.
then he did this other thing. Now, from a cosplay perspective, I was like, "No, that's kind of cool." I was like trying to figure out how I could do that, what we could do, how you could make that, but I did not like it.
Yeah.
Now, did anyone else notice? I did, and Nicholas did, that the drones had the classic comic book Ultron face, the kind of the wicked smile, and the drones looked like the comic book Ultron more than Ultron did, which I liked. I thought, again, spirit of the source material. And you know, Leanna, you mentioned them fighting in and amongst themselves. That's setting up the next movie, Civil War, Captain America Civil War. But more than that, again, it plays to the spirit of the source material. In the Avengers history, they've always bickered against each other.
Yeah.
There's always been rivalries and whatnot. So that was, for me, just a great way to incorporate
They
that.
all come from a different perspective, so
That's
that's why
right.
they bigger.
Yeah, and I did like that aspect of it. I did not hate the movie. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't it. It wasn't it for me.
Yeah. Oh, I liked
It's
it.
interesting. It's interesting how different people have different
Yeah.
perspectives.
I think they could have actually toned down the action just a tad, because when they had the entire team fighting, it sometimes got a
Hard
little
to follow.
hard to follow.
Yeah.
Hard to see who was doing what.
Especially at the beginning.
It was huge.
Even when they slowed it down, it was still
It
too
was
much.
still like you missed all the
So,
really
like
kinda
what she
cool
says about
ones.
Guardians was balanced as far as the action and the drama.
Well, you
goes.
had the smaller team,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's what we're going to get.
And less powers too,
Yeah.
you know, things like that. But I think that's, you know, one of the only things I really didn't care for. I think it could have been done a little differently, the fight scenes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I can respect that. Personally, that last final battle. Oh man, with them gathered around the detonation switch
Yeah.
and those drones
Yeah.
coming faster and faster. I just. It was like
The
a
way-
roller coaster ride for me.
The way that they work together now is like really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, here a couple of thoughts, and our
Do we have any more
viewer,
questions?
not yet,
Oh.
but our viewing audience, I would love to get your perspective on this, because the biggest complaint from fans like me, longtime Avengers comic fans, longtime Hank Pym fans, is that Hank Pym wasn't involved in the creation of Ultron. Now, Ant-Man is coming out later this summer. We know that Hank Pym is a lead character. He's an older Hank Pym. And we know that, and I forget the actor's name, but he played Howard Stark in the Iron Man movies. The older Howard Stark is appearing as Howard Stark in the movie. Haley Atwell, Agent Carter, is appearing in Ant-Man. There's going to be a flashback scene to and this is my theory, to the foundation of S.H.I.E.L.D., and you're going to see Howard Stark and Hank Pym working together to create a global peacekeeping artificial intelligence program. It would surprise me if they didn't actually call it Ultron, and Hank Pym reveals in that movie that, yeah, Howard's son has been trying to complete his work.
Yeah.
If they do that, because it's a distinct possibility, they've left the door wide open for that to happen. If they do that, every fanboy will rejoice because they will have actually preserved the canon.
I think history shows that they're doing a pretty good job of doing that.
Yeah.
You just have to wait for the next one.
Yeah. They are doing a great job.
And I mean, it's planned out.
Yeah.
Whatever you say about Joss Whedon, he's got it planned out.
Well, this was Joss Whedon's last film.
But he planned it out.
Yeah, he did.
He planned the whole thing out.
Yeah, he did. He plotted all the way through the end of Infinity War. You're right. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But here's the other great thing. With at the end of the movie, if you haven't seen it, this is spoiler alert. Tony says it's time to tap out because he's seen a vision that if he stays Iron Man, he's going to be responsible for the death of all his friends. So he's decided, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. Time to tap out. Bruce Banner has lost control of the Hulk because of what the Scarlet Witch did to him early in the film. He thinks he's a danger again. He's gone off. He's vanished off the grid. And so now the team doesn't have the big brains, the science guys. Again, there's a hole to be filled. We didn't see him in the final scene when they're assembling the team. But if Ant-Man comes onto the team, which I think there will probably be an end credit scene with Captain America showing up to recruit Scott Lang, Ant-Man, and if Ant-Man comes along, Hank Pym has to come along, and he will fill that science role. That's my fanboy dream come true if that happens. I happen to think that Hank Pym is the center of the Marvel Universe and everything else revolves around him. It's a theory I have, and someday we can talk about it. But the other big hole that was left, and again, this goes back to the spirit of the source material, the end when they assembled the new team of Avengers, which is War Machine, Scarlet Witch, the Falcon, the Vision, Black Widow, and Captain America. There's no super strength. Thor is gone, the Hulk is gone, so we don't have that sheer brute strength. Now, when it comes to Civil War, there's only there's two potential characters that could fill that role. But only one who has not been introduced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, either by name or by mention. We know that Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, is getting her own movie. She will appear either in Civil War or one of the other films before her solo movie. She would fill that role, but the one character who's not even been mentioned and who ranks in the top 10 in number of appearances, the top 10 Avengers in number of appearances, is She-Hulk.
I knew you were going to say that.
I would flip out.
Me too.
And there's a lot of money kind of riding on that maybe happening. So
that would be
Who
awesome.
the heck would play her?
No.
There's actually a lot of choices, I think.
yeah, I think there are a lot of good choices. Some of them are getting a little bit
You would be
past the prime,
Yeah.
but because remember the chick from Rizzoli and Isles,
Oh,
dark curly hair
Yeah.
chick, she wants to play She-Hulk really bad. She even offered to put up her own money to produce the film.
You are.
I had no idea.
Who?
Yeah,
Girl from Rizzoli and Isles.
What's her name?
I can never remember
Starts
her
with an
name.
H. Her last name Holloway? No.
Anyway, someone will tell us if you guys are watching live and you know who that is. Give us a shout and let us know. Comments, live comments. Well, yeah,
But no, I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
because she's tiny.
Yeah,
But I mean, they'll
do.
do it just like the Hulk, though, with CGI.
maybe. I would rather they find someone who is stacked and packed and could play it, in live action, rather than CGI.
Let's do that.
Because She-Hulk is supposed to be super strong
And 7 feet tall, though.
and 7 feet tall, but she's
I can
supposed
see
to be
that.
super sexy. I mean, she's not supposed to be like super
I know what you
bodybuilder
mean.
buff.
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
strong, but
She's strong, but she's not like.
yeah, she's
What?
Lucy Lawless strong. And
Yeah.
10 years ago, Lucy Lawless would have been perfect.
Angie Harmon.
Angie Harmon.
I knew it started with an H.
Good job.
So
the Google.
So any other thoughts, comments, questions, concerns? Leanna, you represent the audience who has really no background in the source material.
Right.
So things that didn't make sense to you that you still have questions about?
I mean, I'll ask when they come up, but
Nothing off the top of your head?
nothing else. Because I mean, to me, that's all I know is the cinematic universe. So, and I thought it was well put together. The only two things I could say that I didn't like was the beginning credits, and then the thing with Black Widow. But other than that, I thought it was great.
The romantic side with Black Widow chasing Dr. Banner?
The clingy side.
Yeah.
Okay.
The clingy. I
See,
didn't
that's
like that
interesting
too
because
much.
I didn't get clingy from that at all.
Oh.
But you know
Right.
what? That's
I
two
think she
guys.
was running over him.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's infatuation.
She-
it's not clinginess.
She was.
Yeah.
She came on too strong. I
She
think.
she would have had enough
If she would,
wherewithal and enough self-confidence to be like, yeah, dude, I really like you, but whatevs.
No.
Is that what you're...
Well, she might be
I
okay.
mean, she just. I think she came on too strong. And
Instead
what
of like,
happened?
oh my
He
God,
took
I
off.
really
Well, hang on.
like-
I think she would have been more straightforward too.
Well, again,
Yeah.
going back to the point that this might be her first real, true romantic interest in anything, so she doesn't know what to do.
I give him that. I mean, that's
Right?
awesome.
Yep.
And Dr. Banner didn't take off because she was being too pushy or
He
clingy.
did it to not
Well, I
kill
mean, I
somebody.
get that, but he was. At certain points, like
He
whoa,
was probably
you know.
freaked out too because
Yeah.
he didn't know what to think.
I'm
about
sorry,
that.
if Scarlett Johansson's coming on to me like that, I'm going to freak out too. Sorry, that's just me.
Come on.
Yeah, and the last time we saw Dr. Banner with a woman, it was Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler.
And well, Norton was playing the character
But
then.
it still doesn't matter.
But remember,
Yeah.
he had been pining for her for years and years and years, and she had really never noticed him. She was with Leonard Sampson at the beginning, and it was that whole arc that made her fall in love with him. And then he leaves. There was never anything that solidified that relationship in the Hulk movie. So, we saw the geeky side of Dr. Banner come out big time.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know how to react to that at all. I love that.
Oh, yeah. It was good.
And, Chris Evans totally owned the Captain America character.
I do believe he played that really well.
There is no one else that could
Really,
have played
really
him.
And I like the way he's evolving into modern times. He's still a little taken back, but you can see him.
Watch the language.
That
I
was
love that.
That
line.
was such a good bit through the whole movie.
Yeah.
Such a good bit.
I love that
Hammer.
they have the little private jokes that they throw out
That
there.
was great.
I thought that was good too.
What's really
And
interesting
when
is...
got concerned
Got
because
nervous.
Captain
Yeah, 'cause it
moved
moved.
it just a tad.
Oh, yeah.
Got a little nervous.
That whole scene
That was
was
such a
great.
good
And we had
scene.
seen that months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just seeing it again and on the big screen and
Yeah.
In context
See how
and
it
everything.
And
in
for the
context,
rest of
yeah.
the movie too. you
Yeah.
know.
I just want to know how you get an invite to that party. That's all I want to know.
be an Avenger
That
or
was-
an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
I'm still looking at
guess.
that. I was like,
Or a
I just want to be
veteran.
part of that party.
Or a veteran. Yeah.
As in
Stan Lee was great.
Yeah.
Okay, so
God, that's great.
one minor thing that I was missing, okay, is, and you're going to have to close your ears because I'm going to do a spoiler alert
For
here.
S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah, for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Earmuffs.
So, last week's episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. led right up to the beginning of the Avengers.
No.
Yeah.
Coulson says to May, or says to Maria Hill, time to call in the Avengers. They had discovered where the staff was. They knew where Strucker was, and they were sending the Avengers to get the staff
Oh,
I'm
see, I got
and
chills
prop that
again.
whole battle. But we didn't see any of Coulson or his team.
Do
other
they
than
even
Maria
know
Hill.
that Coulson is alive?
We don't, and we
I don't
know
think
that.
they know.
Yeah.
They gotta know.
They know.
See, that's the thing.
Because in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Why wouldn't they address that if... I don't think...
And that's the one issue I had. They didn't address anything that is happening on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. other than we saw Maria Hill come back and she had interacted with Coulson just last week and set up the whole first battle. and Nick Fury returns and says, "Look what I dug out of storage." And we do know that,
Which was in the Shield.
Yeah.
right.
One of the Shield episodes.
The helicarriers, yeah. So we know where it's sitting in the universe, but I wanted to see them acknowledge something about Coulson.
I want to see them finding out Coulson is alive.
Yes, I want that.
That's what I want.
I think it would be funny. Steve Rogers, I think, knows because he's part of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think he knew because look, during Winter Soldier, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. his field team had already been established. The fall of the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D., the fall of the what do they call that headquarters? The
Triskelion.
Yeah, I can't say it.
Welcome to my world.
You know, Coulson was there. They mentioned in the show that they were looking for Steve Rogers and blah 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 blah. They tied those two in really well together. I think Steve Rogers knows. He knows, and he knows Fury has secrets, and as a military person, he kind of gets that. What I think would have been interesting is to have seen Thor's reaction to knowing Coulson was still alive, because I think he would have punched Nick Fury out.
I want to see Tony's reaction.
Tony Stark.
Yeah, because Tony was
Tony's the one that was closest to him.
Yeah.
If you want to call it.
Yeah.
Hang on.
I think
Hang
so.
on.
Go watch the movie again.
Oh yeah, okay. Through the Iron Man movies.
Cellist?
Yes, you're right. You're right.
The cellist. So I mean,
Right.
Tony's the one that's sitting there trying to.
But I think
go.
I don't think Tony would be mad. I think he would kind of be a little bit impressed at how well they maneuvered that and how well they got played. Oh, sure, he would. But I think he would be like, wow, I didn't see that coming at all. I'm really impressed that you pulled this over.
I don't know if he'd be mad. I'm not saying he'd be mad. I want to see that reaction.
Yeah.
I want to see that scene.
And I think Natasha knew. She had to know because, again, working with Cap, working with S.H.I.E.L.D. in the inner circle.
S.H.I.E.L.D. kept a lot of secrets from each other.
That's what I'm saying.
A lot.
Either one person knows, or they are completely left in the dark, and nobody has a clue.
Except for Fury.
Except for Fury
Maria
and Maria Hill. Those two are the only ones that are holding the keys to the castle, anyway.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. Last night was the new episode of the show. I'm going to watch it tonight. I can't wait to see how they deal with the aftermath, if they do it all. No. Because in last week's episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Raina had a vision. She had a vision about the final battle and said nothing will ever be the same again. And so we'll see.
We'll see.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's okay.
Nothing you say is going to prevent me from watching it.
So. Watch it.
Last week's episode was really good.
Absolutely nothing that you could tell me the whole entire story. I'd still watch it.
Okay, so next week we'll have a little recap of what's happening on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because Skye's character, Daisy Johnson, she's ready for the big leagues. She is ready to join the team. The A team. Yeah, it's awesome. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. All right, guys, any last comments? What?
I don't know.
I've got I saw a rumor on Facebook. It doesn't really, it's Marvel related.
What time is it?
Huh?
7:53.
What?
Tom Hardy wants to play the Punisher.
Again?
Tom Hardy. Not Tom Jane.
Oh.
Bane wants to play the Punisher.
Bane?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Bane?
Mm-hmm.
We are getting a Netflix Punisher series.
Tom Hardy.
It was announced last week.
Tom Hardy wants to play the Punisher.
Interesting.
That was my comment.
I'm not a Punisher fan, so.
What?
Yeah, I don't get it.
I like the Punisher.
I don't get it. But man, they've just done such a great job. Marvel and Disney have done such a great job of creating this multi-layered universe, and they just, for me, even though Nancy, even though it wasn't your favorite, I still think you have to say they hit a home run.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I can't say I didn't like it at all. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
It's just
wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you see now people coming out trying to find the chinks in the Marvel armor and take them down.
Yeah, it's DC fans.
Yeah,
I'm messing with you.
I am a DC fan, but I'm not opposed to Marvel. I'm just not as, Okay, so we need to bring this all Mobius strip back to the beginning, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Wait. You have a Mobius strip, don't you?
I do, in my pocket.
You do?
Yeah, this is the coolest thing. She was showing this to me earlier today, and yeah, go get it. She asked me if I knew what it was, and we're bringing this full circle now.
Bringing the conversation full circle.
Yeah,
so it was a great movie,
Yeah, but
and it was a great. For those who haven't seen it, you should see the movie. And this is.
yeah, we were talking about this before the show. This Mobius strip, I called it an infinity loop, which is really the same thing.
Basically.
And this will blow your mind. Explain the pen line.
So it's a two-dimensional figure, but it's actually just one dimension, because if you put a pin on it and you take the pin and you go all the way around, the pin never leaves. There's no corners. So like if you have a piece of paper and you move the pin, it goes
How
off
is
the
that
corner.
possible?
It's science, baby.
That's like Tony Stark stuff.
That's right.
That's crazy town. See, that may play right into Infinity War. Oh, we forgot one thing.
Oh no.
Hemdall.
Yes.
We saw Hemdall in this movie, and someone has pointed out that in Thor and in Avengers, he's got a gem right here in his chest. And in this movie, he talks about, I can see the souls of men. And people are suggesting he's got one of the Infinity Gems, the Soul Gem.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. So it all is tying together in such a beautiful way. Before we leave, a couple of things I want to leave you guys with. One, if you like this this panel, this roundtable, we do this kind of stuff for conventions. And not just Avengers and Agent Carter stuff or Diesel Punk stuff, but cosplay and gaming. And we have a whole slate of programming that we can bring to your convention. And you can find out more about that at powerhouseconventions.com. Go check that out. See what we can offer. Cosplay suite, cosplay panels, Diesel Punk, steampunk, gaming, comics, the whole kit and caboodle. Yep. So we would love to do that. And then, Cosplay Collective, you guys got two more. Boom, boom,
They are
boom.
on fire.
Big events coming up.
Yep.
Three.
What?
Tell them, Dean. Hurry up.
So the Arthritis Foundation on May 16th
Yep.
at Centennial Park. The Centennial Family and Children's Day
That's
at
Centennial Park.
on the 17th.
16th and 17th, Saturday and Sunday.
And on the 30th, some of us are participating in the 5K run for the Chocolate 5K for Wishes of Tennessee. Dreams and Wishes of Tennessee.
Cool.
And
More to follow.
there's more to follow.
Yeah.
That's all
And
that's
I would
announced
say
right now.
that a Cosplay Collective event is the only place that you will ever see Batman line dance.
Yeah, it was
That's true.
awesome.
Check out the page. Batman was lying.
Yeah, so check out Cosplay Collective at cosplaycollective.org, O-R-G. That takes you right to their Facebook page, and you can
We
see
were
that
all so
video.
stunned we couldn't even join him.
It was epic.
It
It was
epic.
awesome, and thank you to Adam and Shannon Prince and everybody else who joined in for the March for Babies. Right,
Yes.
that's where that was.
Yes.
And more events coming up. We got some conventions coming up that we're going to be a part of. July 11th is the Nashville Comic and Horror Expo, or is it Toy Expo?
Yeah.
Toy.
Comic and Toy Expo. Used to be
The
horror.
tattoo and horror
No, that's
festivals.
No,
are
that's
this
something
weekend.
different.
That's all it's a
So
big-
Comic City Conventions,
That's this weekend, right?
Nashville Comic and Toy Convention. We're going to be there doing cosplay contests and panels, other stuff to be developed. That's in July. Then in September, we're at the Jackson Comic and Toy Fest. And then in December, we're at Geekonomicon. And there will be some more filling in as we go along. And we're going to, some of us, hopefully the whole gang will go. We're going to go to Superman Celebration in Metropolis, Illinois. It's my favorite convention, my favorite festival. It's kid-friendly, and I think we all need to go and just have a day of it. I'm going to for sure go. Because it's an annual
What
event.
day
From
is it?
it's a Saturday.
What weekend?
It'll be the weekend after Memorial Day.
Mm.
So it'll be the next weekend.
June 5th.
June, 5th through the 7th, I think.
Apparently you're not going.
Apparently something's going on. I don't know about. We'll have a conversation later on.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's it for our Avengers Roundtable. If you guys like what you see, tell 200-300 of your closest friends and family to tune in. You can watch us live on graphicpolicy.com. You know that if you're watching right now. You can watch us on demand on YouTube, on 3 channels on YouTube. You just do a search for Comixstravaganza.
You're
going to find us. You can listen to us audio only on iTunes. And we need you to go to iTunes and give us a good review.
Yes.
Even if you don't use iTunes, go iTunes.com, do a search for Comixstravaganza Live, give us a good review, a 5-star review. That would be awesome. And we want you to visit our sponsors. Comic Bento, check them out if you love comics, and we think you do because you're watching our show. You can get a box of comics, a mystery box. Every month, at least $50 or more comics for less than $20. Click on the show notes on the video link below, and that'll take you to our affiliate link, and you help us out. And also visit graphicpolicy.com, and of course, Blue Microphone, who we record the audio-only version on every week at bluemic.com. Guys, anything you want to leave our audience with? On behalf of Leanna, Nancy, Daniel, Dee, I'm Johnny. Till the next time, swing hard, swing often. We'll catch you on the flip side.